My great honor to be here in the middle of respective and lovely audience of the Asian Electoral Stakeholder Forum 4th, the biggest and the most important electoral gathering hosted by collaborative effort of EMBs and NGOs in Asia and probably in the world. This forum, perhaps not only to reaffirm our stand toward democratic election values, but also to share and support each other, to become the energy of Asia in the effort to defend democracy and push back the regressions. We can do it if we are together. Congratulations for the Sri Lanka Election Commissions, ANFREL, and all of us to be here. Let's use our liberty to help those in need.
On behalf of the Election Commission of Sri Lanka, I would like to present the compliments and extend a warm welcome to all of you to the Asian AESF 4 in Colombo that begins today. It is the honor of the Election Commission of Sri Lanka. We at the Election Commission of Sri Lanka are quite confident that this forum will create a conducive environment for the sharing of experience, knowledge, lessons learned among electoral management bodies in Asia and election stakeholders. Praja Chandravadaya vikalpayak nove eya anivarya avashyataveki. In Tamil, Jananayaka moru maatriduvalla assuvaru aityavanasi. In English, democracy is not an option, it's a must.
The AESF forum have been gradually improving and improving. It's now global. It's not anymore restricted to Asia. So we are gathered today, election commissioners from across Asia, from the tiny kingdom of the emerging democracy, Bhutan, to the biggest democracy in the world, India. We have brought them here together because we are firm believers in the cooperative effort that I mentioned between civil society organizations and election management bodies to promote and defend democracy. My friends, I'd like to end by saying, when you have strong civil society organizations working hand in hand with strong democratic institutions such as the election management body, that's a sure formula for success in promoting and defending democracy. You can never go wrong.
මා ඉතාමත් සතුටින් සහ ආඩම්බරයෙන් කියනවා ශ්‍රී ලංකාව මගේ රට පැහැදිලි ශක්තිමත් ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී පදනමක් තිබෙන රටක් කියලා. අපිට අවශ්‍ය වන්නේ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදයේ ශක්තිමත් කරන්න. අපිට අවශ්‍ය වන්නේ මිනිසුන්ගේ නිදහස ශක්තිමත් කරන්න. අපට අවශ්‍ය වන්නේ මානව හිමිකම් ශක්තිමත් කරන්න. අපට අවශ්‍ය වන්නේ මාධ්‍ය නිදහස් ශක්තිමත් කරන්න. ඒ සියල්ල අපි මේ රටේ මේ වෙන විට කරලා තිබෙනවා. අපිට අවශ්‍ය වන්නේ සියලු මැතිවරණ නිදහස් සාධාරණ නිහඬ සාමකාමී මැතිවරණ විදියට පවත්වලා රට තුළ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදය ස්ථාපිත කරන්න. ඒ නිසා මේ ඉතාමත් වැදගත් කාර්යයට පැමිණි ඔබ සියලු දෙනාට මා නැවත නැවතත් ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා වගේම අපේ මැතිවරණ කොමිසමේ සභාපති මහින්ද දේශප්‍රිය මැතිතුමා කොමසාරිස්තුමා ඇතුළු කාර්ය මණ්ඩලය මේට අනුග්‍රහය දැක්වූ අපේ සියලු ආයතන රාජ්‍ය නොවන ආයතන සංවිධාන මාධ්‍ය ඒ සියල්ලට මා ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙමින් නැවතත් මගේ උතුම් රටට පැමිණි ඔබ සියලු දෙනාට මගේ ගෞරව සහ ස්තුතිය පුද කරමින් ඔබෙන් සමුගන්නවා ස්තුතියි.
The AESF4 is designed to be a two-day program that will comprise plenary and workshop sessions to discuss the advancement of free and fair elections consistent with the principles set forth in the Bangkok Declaration, Delhi Indicators on Democratic Elections, and Bali Commitment, the 8 Keys to Integrity.
As we all know, electoral processes cannot predetermine results, and by no means should they, but we must make sure that those 8 principles that we agreed upon at a previous event are upheld in terms of the transparency, the accessibility of the ordinary citizen to the process. And I think that's what we will want to be referring the accounts of what is happening around the world.
Significance of the development in Malaysia, I think one is that 60 years of a powerful regime can fall if the people have the will to make the change. I think that's the first point. And secondly, revolution is not the only way to change our government, but change of government can also take place with elections, with ballot box.
Women participate in the electoral process, and if 10% turnout of a woman is not participated, those elections are nullified. And we have nullified those elections in which constituencies the 10% turnout has not used or participated in the elections. So we have encouraged the women participation all over the country, and which has given very positive results in the recent elections.
I would like to ask the UN representative that is it possible to promote electoral system that can guarantee or ensure the seats in the parliament for a marginalized group, for example, persons with disabilities, so that the needs and necessity can be included in the policy formulation.
We work with electoral management bodies. We are co-located as advisors with electoral management bodies based on the needs assessment mission that we have done, identified the areas of support, agreed upon the identified areas of support together with the various international partners, the national authorities, and the donors, and then we approach to the Undersecretary General for approval of the assistance. So that goes back to the fact that once we have the assistance in place, we develop a project, we work with the electoral management bodies and the various stakeholders as identified through the needs assessment mission.
So in Sri Lankan elections, so we have a multi-party operation unit at the election secretariat during the elections. So all the contesting political parties in one table, observers are also in one table, the police and all other administrative authorities are in one table. So during the elections, whatever happens, it will come to that secretariat. So everybody aware, it's very transparent. If it is a administrative matter, it goes to the elections officials. They will settle within a half an hour's time. If it is a police matter, it goes to the police. So it's a two-way communication, and also the political party, they will also get alert if something wrong with their party, they also with alert. So that is one of the best practice we are practicing last couple of elections.
We would want to consider a regional network of election adjudicators to compare, to do knowledge sharing, to compare notes, and and talk about challenges to make election dispute resolution and electoral justice.
Why don't we think of electronic democracy today instead of going for paper and paper and paper all everywhere?
This is something that technology is happening everywhere. It's happening in every other government sector. It's happening in every business, so why not elections? I would just kind of flag that the one thing is elections are a little different because they are so high stakes, right? And so you have to sort of treat those slightly differently in terms of just the amount of precautions that are put into place, and again, really considering the public's confidence in the system itself. In terms of security, obviously, every election management body should have security standards in place, certification standards in place. Some international and regional instruments are starting to codify those a little bit as well. But again, I think the key here is always making sure that the system is transparent and can be audited to help build that confidence.
When we talk about Asia, we have a large range of issues with regard to election commission. On one side, there are countries where election commission is very, very strong. And there are countries where they are, literally working at the hands of the government. So we have a whole range. If we look at the NGO, the civil society organizations, in some countries they are playing a very important role. In some countries, we don't see them playing an important role. Some countries, in some countries, NGOs and election management bodies are at loggerhead. In some countries, they are able to put things together to put pressure on the election management body to make elections free and fair.
We are very much concerned about not just election day, but all the days in between. We have heard it so many times today. Democracy is much more than elections, but democracy without elections is nothing. And what we are working hard, the foundation, is, for instance, with media, with education, with information, and also about basic information about participation. Asia, and especially South and East Asia, is the biggest, the most vibrant, and the most dynamic part of the world when it comes to democracy.
What is the role by the 3 tiers of commissions that are already operating in Indonesia to ensure that religion does not become the divisive factor and confuse a lot of voters? And therefore we will have perhaps even a government that we may not really see as neutral to the people and care for them in the long run.
It's very important for us, the role of religious leader. For example, inside of Bawasu, we can collaborate with them to how religious doctrines against the political money politics. And for KPU, for example, how for a religious leader can be the actor to share the information when the election day and how to vote the election. And both of us, KPU and Bawaslu, have the very good collaboration with all religious leaders to make our every stages are well known by the people.
As a result of the long struggle by civil societies and women parliamentarians, the present government took affirmative action to increase women's representation at local government by 25%. This was a great milestone, as now we have 2,526 women at local government bodies, representing all parties, of which 536 were elected and 1,991 were appointed. Although we did not reach the expected 25% target, we were able to increase it to 23.6% from 2%.
Nationwide, statistics and data on disability and elections are not available yet. So therefore, it is still making hard for us to make more effective planning and monitoring of disability inclusive elections in the country and also regionally.
Social media softwares you developed during your work about tracking the hate speech in social media, especially during the election time. And if there is something about this in different languages, not only in English, it will be very helpful if you give us some just directions.
And this is a key issue to think about this. And the recent example of Bawaslu working with Facebook and social media platforms is one good example to look at. And when there are some representatives either in the region or in the country, bring them in. You may not have regulatory or legal authority over them, but you certainly are, part of working with ministries of information, working with other independent commissions in the country. You have a moral authority, and certainly it's important to take steps to proactively engage and not say the law doesn't give us the space and therefore not. So the attempt is particularly important. Software to track hate speech, Peace Tech Lab has an excellent software. They do work in South Sudan and Kenya, and there are a range of other organizations that are also developing sophisticated software to track hate speech.
For these discussions, my name is about open, already were written by
the groups. So in the original text, it's only persons with disabilities, indigenous people, religious, and then we add caste minorities, youth, prisoners, internally displaced person, refugees. So not only for the discrimination, we decided to add exclusion, because discrimination and exclusion is two different things. You can discriminate, but the worst thing is you exclude. You're not getting discriminated, but you exclude it from the political rights.
We propose is to replace encourage with the word ensure. And that's a surprise actually, particularly when, as I've said, we're among lawyers. Ensure is stronger than simply encouraging. And the consensus there was, if you're talking fair competition, leveling the playing field, that should be clear at the outset. It's not simply something that you encourage, but you should ensure. Otherwise, the whole meaning of democratic participation in elections or the fair leveling the playing field will have no meaning.
All the participants agree that the freedom, individual freedom, it's the fundamental the factor which can be assessed, which can use it to assess the quality of the electoral process. That's what we agree. So when we're talking about the electoral, the individual freedom, so we are talking about freedom of expression, freedom of thought, freedom of association, just these kind of things. But there are some highlights within this paragraph is that when we're talking about the freedom of expression, we should also need to specifically mention about the freedom of thought and freedom of expression on the social media. So there are more and more countries using in the law and legal framework to silence the citizen voices even on the social media platform. So those are the things we are discussing.
I think these forums originally was formed to exchange, to strengthen cooperation between civil society and EMBs. What are you going to do? I can cite one example. I recently surprised. I went to Nepal and I saw ANFREL members in New York. They put Bangkok Declarations articles. Of course, this is also your works, Mr. Nelkanta, in the proposal of electoral law. This is one example. Meaning, all these pledges, all these commitments, declarations, it's going back home. Everybody should take up.
I'm pleased to announce that Mongolia will be hosting 5th Asian Electoral Stakeholder Forum in 2020.
I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the officers of the Election Commission of Sri Lanka and the officials of ANFREL and PAFFREL who have worked tirelessly around the clock to make this forum a success. Yes, they deserve it. I think you will all agree that this forum has been, in many respects, a memorable one.
I would like to thank all the experts and panelists who are with us. The brilliance of your minds made this event a very interesting one, and it is worth noting that all participants stayed until the end of the event to listen to what you have to say. I would like to thank the ANFREL board and the staff who have done everything to make the concept of this event relevant and relatable among various segments of civil society. We are looking forward to see all respective election management bodies and the friends in Mongolia during the 5th Asian Electoral Stakeholder Forum. See you in Ulaanbaatar. Stuti.
Knowledge Box, the value-based media network.